Hey, what's up guys? This is NuKastle here, and I've got a short tutorial for you on how to process your kicks. So I'm going to show you what I've done here is I have a basic kick and an unprocessed, uncreated sub bass. Also going to be showing you how to do the sub bass in this one. So let's go ahead and jump into it. The first thing I've done is I've made a pattern with just 4 kicks on it. It's unprocessed, no compression, no EQing, nothing of the sort. What I'm going to be doing is I'm going to show you how to compress it properly and how to EQ it properly, and also what you can do to give it a little bit more punch. So the first thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add a compressor, and I use FL Studio, so my favorite compressor is the Fruity Limiter. Bump the ceiling all the way up. We don't need the limiter. We only need the compressor. So if you go down here, if you're following me in FL Studio right now, you can go down to Comp, which stands for compress. That's right under limiter. And if you play your pattern, it's going to show you exactly what's going on here. So I've turned my threshold down to about -20 or so. I'm also going to punch up my gain to about 6 decibels. As you can see over here, it's peaking out at about -3 decibels. And so what I'm going to want to do is I'm just going to compress it down with maybe, I don't know, a 3-to-1 ratio and see what that does. And we've compressed it down to about -5, which I usually have my kicks at about -6. Again, it's mainly about personal preference, depending on how you compress your drums. If you compress them all together into one separate bus, you can do it that way. This is how I do it, so I'm just showing you guys. Okay, once you compress your kick, you're going to want to load up a parametric EQ of some sort, where you can see exactly what the waveform is doing. There's a lot of activity going on in the low end right here, and I'm going to want to cut that out because I want to make room for my sub bass. Whoops. So I'm just going to high pass it. I'll show you guys how to also properly use the parametric EQ in a different tutorial. Right now I'm just kind of wanting to blast through this. If you know how to use a parametric EQ, then that's good. Other good plugins for EQing also include the Ozone 5 plugin. It's pretty pricey, but a couple of my friends use it and they say it's very, very well worth the money. So what I've done here is I've high passed it to about 100 hertz, and then it slowly cuts off down to about 70 hertz. And then I'm going to bump up about 100 hertz right here to give it some punch. And now if you take a listen to it, it's going to be lacking some low end, but it's going to have a nice punch to it. The only thing is that if you look over here, you can see that the left channel is evening out at -4, and the right channel is evening out at -5. Or just right below -5. That's not good. We want the stereo to be completely even on both sides. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to add a stereo merger. Which one? There you are. For this one I'm going to be using the Fruity Stereo Shaper. What? No, this is the wrong one. I need the Fruity Stereo Enhancer, I'm sorry. And what I'm going to do is I'm just going to turn this knob all the way to the right. And as you can see, my stereo is now merged on both channels. Arguably, you should actually separate the stereo channel to make your track seem a little wider. But for the case of this tutorial, I'm just showing you how to get both of them even. It really just depends on personal preference. If you're making a If you're making a big room track that needs a really heavy kick or a dubstep track, then yes, you'd actually want to separate your stereo. But in this case, I wanted to merge them so that both channels were even. All right, now that I have it leveled out at about -6, I'm going to go ahead and start on the sub kick. I'm going to show you how to do this. And what I've done here is I've made a pattern that just has 4 notes at middle C. It's just a sine wave. I'm going to be using citrus for this. You can use massive, you can use silent, you can use harmer. For this one, I'm just going to be using citrus for the sake of speed. I'm going to be turning down this output. I don't really need it. Now I'm going to be pitching down the first oscillator to 0.25, multiplied by 0.25. Yeah, this is the frequency ratio. Not really going to go too in-depth on how to use citrus. That's a tutorial for a different day. Just right now I'm wanting to show you how I process my sub basses. So I'm going to be putting this one into the first filter and turning it all the way up to 100%. For my second oscillator, what I'm going to want to do is I'm going to go down to 0.125, and this is going to fill up the rest of the very low end, what humans can't hear, but we can feel on a big system. And I'm just going to barely, maybe about 30 to 40%, just turn that up, and then bump this out all the way. Go into the first filter, go to the cutoff. This is going to cut out every high frequency that I have. Now, as you can hear, that's more on the low end. Okay, I'm also going to create an envelope. I'm going to set the attack all the way up and the decay all the way down for about, and I'm going to make it last 1 bar. Sustain and release, I want them down with the decay also. Now, as you can hear, it's got a nice downward curve to it. Okay. You can mess around with the handles, do it however you like. Doesn't really matter, it's just a matter of personal preference. Okay, so now I'm going to go in here, going to compress it again. Very, very lightly compress it. I'm going to mess with the attack a little bit to preserve for some of the transient. Second thing I'm going to do is I'm going to add an EQ. And for this one, I'm going to be turning off every single handle, whoops, except for the first 2. I'm going to low pass it, the nice sharp curve, and cut it off at about 100 hertz, maybe somewhere in that area. And then I'm going to bump up the low end. I'm going to mess with the bandwidth. Again, this isn't really a comprehensive tutorial on how to use the parametric EQ. I'm just mainly showing you how to process this. Make sure you bump it up to about -5 or -4. Personally, I like my sub bass to be 1 or 2 decibels louder than my kick. Now, if you listen to them, it should be glued together. The kick has a really nice transient to it, and the sub bass has a really nice body to it. By separating the two, you have essentially made it to where the low end's not going to be super clogged up. You can change how heavy you want your bass to be. You can change how loud you want your kick to be without affecting the bass. There's a million different things you can do, and that's just how I process my kicks. Anyway, this is NuKastle with the first tutorial I've ever made. I hope you guys enjoyed it. Hope you guys learned a lot. I will see you guys next time.